It's time for
It's Fanboy Weekly for all you geeks, nerds, and blurs. Let's get our geek on.
I am so sorry that I'm a little bit late. It's 12:07. Well, I'm sorry, it's 1:07. And I was supposed to be here at 1 o'clock. I do apologize, but it is Fanboy Weekly, and I'm your host, David. And it's time to, like I say, get our geek on. I think it's so hilarious. Every time I hear it, I crack up because I think it's totally, totally funny. I hope you guys are doing good. I am home and off work. I'm actually still watching, well, I've watched it earlier, but watching the last part of the Walking Dead finale, because you know the Walking Dead finale was tonight, and it was good. It was good, but we're not going to get there yet. We'll get there eventually. So, what have you guys been up to? It's been a pretty calm week for me. Fanboy wise, I've got some stuff, some comic books, some hero clicks, things of that nature. You know how I do week to week, and it's starting to be expensive. I need to stop. This is wrong with me. I'm so impulsive, and once I get on something, I won't let it go. It's good in some respects, but in other ways, it's like, okay, it's time to bring that on down, and stop being so crazy with it. I'm really excited because today is was really Monday, but it's Sunday night. In 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday, is the first annual and first ever pop culture and comic book convention here in Southern Indiana. It's hopefully it'll be good, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna stop saying, because the guys at PopCon have been very cool, and allow me to do some things as VIP. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. They've been very cool, and very happy to be going. But there's all kind of comic book conventions going on this month. I think this weekend was Louisville. I think it's Wizard World Comic Convention, and then next week is St. Louis Wizard World, and the one here, and then at the end of the month is the one in Chicago, and I think in between that there's a couple more. So I'm like, wow, this must be comic convention season, because it is they're doing a lot. So hopefully this year I'll get to do a little bit more traveling, and attend some ones, some of the bigger ones outside of the city. Plus I need a vacation. You know, I need a vacation. Anyhow, like I said, I hope you guys are doing good. And so I was thinking about what's tonight's theme. You know, I always talk about comic books, and I always talk about television shows, and maybe I'll talk about something that's going on, like in the movies, or a plot twist, or some speculation that's going on. But I never really have like a theme of what's going on. And this is really not a theme. I just want to talk about it for a little bit. And I seen a YouTube video earlier today with Wil Wheaton. And if you remember who Wil Wheaton is, Wil Wheaton is and was, he was Wesley Crusher on Star Trek The Next Generation, which I absolutely loved. Although I have to say I liked Voyager a little better. Don't ask me why, even though they came at two totally different times, because I guess there was Star Trek Deep Space Nine in between. And I've never been considered a Trekkie. I love Star Trek, but I never consider myself a Trekkie. I can't do the whole Spock thing, you know. But and I haven't even seen the movies. Well, I haven't seen the new reboots. I haven't seen any of those movies. And so, but I like the whole the series, and you know, and of course Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. I always liked his portrayal as the captain. Of course, he's Professor X in X-Men, and but he was talking about, Wil Wheaton was talking. He's also been on The Big Bang Theory. I didn't know that he was also on The Big Bang Theory. But Wil Wheaton was he was at a comic convention, some panel, and I guess a lady, she was ready to have a baby, and she asked him what it how could she tell her child or her newborn, or when they get older, you know, is it okay to be a nerd? how to live in this world and be a nerd. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting because I've never, although I say I'm the biggest nerd and geek and blurred black nerd, I say that often, but you never, when you think about it, it's like, okay, when did I become a nerd, or how am I a nerd? I know Chris Top on the Chris Top program, he calls himself a nerd, which I think is pretty cool. Nerds are in right now, and nerds with beards are really in. And then you have then you have all these stereotypes of the comic book nerds, geeks, or whatever. The men that live in their mother's basements, or smelly, overweight, greasy hair. We're across the board. We're different people. They're black, white, Asian, Hispanic. And it's okay to be a nerd, so to speak. And I think now that term is so with so many comic book movies, and things that are putting a kind of a spotlight on comic books and that genre. We're in because we have the information. We know, and also we can be our own worst enemy because when we see a comic book movie that's not true to the characters or to the comic books, we lose our mind. I don't know if you guys read comics, what's it, comic resource guide, and also the comic book is one of the websites. Something when they're going to reboot the Fantastic Four, and I think it's coming out in 2016. And I think Johnny Storm is now black, and so people lost their mind. But I was one of those guys when I guess it's Brett Ratner who did the X-Men: The Last Stand. When he gave it was the Phoenix story, and they didn't give Jean Grey, the Phoenix, any fire. And I had a big issue with that. With even the technology, that was in 2006, even with the technology then, they could have done it. It could have been done. But they just chose not to. And it was the worst out of that trio of movies that they had, and so was Storm's hair. But anyhow, so I was one of those guys. I'm like, they shouldn't have done it. And so here recently, with the onset of Days of Future Past, which we got a really good trailer tonight during The Walking Dead, you see all this crazy stuff going on. And so they were talking about on one of the websites what is how they're doing it, because I had to go read, because I had the original graphic novel trade paperback. I have it, so I had to go look it up, pull it out, and read the story over again. And I'm like, oh, okay, because really it was Kate Pride in the book that went back into her younger self's body to warn the X-Men of an event that was going to, change how mutants were perceived, going from bad to worse. And then we end up in this apocalyptic future where the Sentinels are like whooping on everybody. But and so I'm like, so they're using Wolverine. I'm like, because I want them to introduce. It's been a perfect time to pull Scott Summers out of the past, which that would work. They're going to do some time traveling, or he gets stuck in the future or whatever, and introduce Rachel Summers. Because she was the one that sent him back, and then somebody wrote that it was Kitty Pryde who sent Bishop back. So there's going to be a lot of time traveling in Days of Future Past. So can't wait to see that. That comes out in May. Then of course this weekend I'm gonna have a geek-filled weekend. The fourth Friday is the comic book convention. Friday night I'm going to see Captain America Winter Soldier. Saturday I'm going back to the comic book convention, and then Sunday it's my mother's birthday, so it won't be too geeky then, but I'm sure I'll get some downtime. So it's going to be a very, very busy weekend, but I'm excited. Anyhow, so talking about nerds. So, and like what Will was saying, I'm going to play the clip for you here in a second. You know, it's okay be a nerd. And what I like what he says, and you'll hear it in the clip, he says, we love things very, very hard. He said, we love differently. We want to learn. We want to get the one thing that we love, we want to get as much information we can about it. And I'm like, that's a really good way to look at being a nerd. You know, it's not something, we're not social outcasts. At least I don't think I am. Well, podcasters are nerds, you know. We're not social outcasts. You know, we just, you know, like you said, we love differently, and we love hard, and we want to be we want that all the information that about something, whether it's comic books or computer games or you know, whatever it is, the figurines or the movies, or you can nerd out on something that has totally nothing to do with pop culture. You know, we like to read. So listen to the clip, and then tell me if this is a really, really good kind of synopsis of what being a nerd is.
Hi, Violet. My name is Wil Wheaton. It's 2013, and you've just recently joined us on planet Earth. So welcome. I'm an actor, and I'm a writer, and I'm a dad. And your mother asked me to tell you why it's awesome to be a nerd. And that's an easy thing for me to do because that's who I am. I don't know what the world's going to be like by the time you understand this. I don't know what it's going to mean to be a nerd when you are a young woman. For me, when I was growing up, being a nerd meant that I liked things that were a little weird, that took a lot of effort to appreciate and understand. It meant that I loved science, and I loved playing board games and reading books, and really understanding what went on in the world instead of just kind of riding the planet through space. And when I was a little boy, people really teased us about that, and made us feel like there was something wrong with us for loving those things. Now that I'm an adult, I'm kind of a professional nerd, and the world has changed a lot. And I think a lot of us have realized that being a nerd, or being a geek is another word you'll hear, and I sort of use the terms interchangeably. It's not about what you love. It's about how you love it. So there's going to be a thing in your life that you love, and I don't know what it's going to be. It might be sports, it might be science, it might be reading, it might be fashion design, it might be building things, it might be telling stories or painting pictures. It doesn't matter what it is. The way you love it, and the way that you find other people who love it the way you do, is what makes being a nerd awesome. The defining characteristic of us, the people in this room, and I'm going to ask your mom to turn this camera around in a minute. Go there, go on. Ties us all together is that we love things. And some of us love Firefly, and some of us love Game of Thrones, and some of us love, these are things that you'll be able to go see there in your history book. Some of us love Star Trek, or Star Wars, or anime, or games, or fantasy, or science fiction. Some of us love completely different things, but we all love those things so much that we travel thousands of miles, which is probably easy for you, but it's still we're still on fossil fuels. I don't know what you're going to do. It's difficult. We come from all over, in some cases all over the world, so that we can be around people who love the things that we love the way that we love them. And that's why being a nerd is awesome. Don't ever let anybody tell you that that thing that you love is a thing that you can't love. Don't ever let anyone tell you You can't love that. That's for boys. You have to love this because you're a girl. You find the things that you love, and you love them the most that you can. And listen, this is really important. I want you to be honest, honorable, kind. I want you to work hard because everything worth doing is hard. And I want you to be awesome. And I'm going to do my very best to leave you a planet that you can still live on.
And that was Wil Wheaton talking about being a nerd. So I thought that was really, really nice. Like I said, it was like some kind of, it was a comic convention, and he answered a lady's question, what to tell her soon-to-be newborn about being a nerd and that it's okay. And I think he hit it dead on, and I found it really, really cool. I like to do my funny quizzes. It's called the Are You a Nerd test, and I'll go through this really fast, and then we'll take a quick break. Number one, your friend has a question that only you can answer. Which of these sounds like a question a friend would go to you to help him answer? My computer crashed. Can you help me? What was the name of the obscure band who wrote the song about the Kennedy assassination? Could you explain Stephen Hawking's theory of parallel universes? Would you help me with, you know what? I'll just check Wikipedia things. I get mostly computer questions, and normally it's from my family members and a few friends. Number two, where do you take someone you're interested in on a romantic date? Dinner and a movie? A picnic a few hours before sunrise with a telescope so we can observe constellations? This really great foreign film you heard about, an anime convention, a quiz in my physics class, dinner and a movie. I'm a traditionalist. Which of these nerd items do you have in your bedroom? A desktop computer with 2 flat screen monitors and a laptop, a record player and hundreds of records, and the gizmo that converts the records to MP3 files, life-size posters of characters from any of the following: Star Trek, X-Files, Star Wars, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Stargate, or Stargate Atlantis. Probably going to be desktop computer with 2 flat screen monitors, because at one time, although I don't have any of that stuff, now I do have my desktop computer and my laptop, so I guess that kind of quantifies it, but at one time, when I was a younger person, I'm a little bit too old for posters on the wall, although I wouldn't mind having one. In WoW, what class are you? When I played WoW, which was very, very short-lived, I was a shaman. And number 5, some people think being a nerd is unattractive. Are you attracted to nerd girls or nerd guys? Well, I'm going to say I'm a guy and I have a crush on it doesn't say. So we're just going to put nerd boys. And then let's see, number 6. The home page in your browser is what? MySpace or Facebook, Wikipedia, my blog, the Village Voice, the New York Times. If I would have one, it would probably be my blog, because I go there a lot. Your biggest fear about the opposite sex is what? They'll never take an interest in me because I'm a nerd, that I won't know what to say to them, that they'll talk to me. None of those apply, so I'll put I don't know what to say to them, because sometimes I'm not interested in girls, so sometimes I don't know what to say to them. But that's not true. Anyhow, why did you take this quiz? I thought it would be fun. I wanted to see how I would score. A friend thought I'd get a kick out of it, and it's 4 a.m. and I thought, why not? I thought it would be fun. Do you own a pet? Yes, a dog, cat, or fish. I should say all the above. 10. Can you speak another language? Yes, I know Spanish. That's number 10. This is a long quiz, guys. 11. You're having a party this weekend and are inviting your friends over to watch the game, work on the computer. You all decide to build together, watch the Star Wars movie back to back, play a rousing game of Dungeons and Dragons. It'll probably be a movie. Probably not Star Wars, but it'll be a movie. Viruses are really annoying. What should you do to avoid them? Run appropriate antivirus software and be careful which emails you open. Get a Mac, run Linux, wash your hands. run the software? 13. What is your favorite non-electronic hobby? Playing a sport, mind-bending puzzle, improv, comedy, music, building models. Had to be music. Which of these video games is your favorite? Halo, Guitar Hero, Legend of Zelda, Grand Theft Auto. Quick, get out a calculator. How many days old are you in base 2? Or just enter your birthday below. So I want to enter my birthday below. And I won't tell you guys, but it is August 25th. But I won't tell you the year. Because I'm old. Not that old. I seem really subdued tonight for some reason. I don't know. And the last one, would you go back to school to get smarter? Yes. Oh, and that was their little pay thing. So let's say no and continue. We're going to skip to the results. Yeah, this is one of the ones that they have all these little pop-up things, which are horrible. Oh yeah, they're making me wait. Don't you hate that on these websites that make you wait, so you can play their advertisement? So lame. I hate advertisements on internet videos. I think it's ridiculous. You know what? I'm not a nerd. This test proves it. I thought I was, but I'm not. It says, nope, you're not a nerd, but don't worry. Read a few more books and spend a little more time getting to know your computer, and you'll be a nerd in no time. Of course, by a few more and a little more, we mean a lot more. So I'm not a nerd, so this podcast is totally pointless. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. I don't know why I like that song. I just do. It just seems appropriate. I don't know why, but it just does. Anyhow, welcome back. It is the 5x5 Fanboy Weekly, and I am David, and we are just talking about being a nerd and then all of the things that kind of go along with it. We just listen to a clip from Wil Wheaton talking about being a nerd, and what else? I took a nerd test, and I found out that I'm not a nerd. So, like I said, this podcast today is totally pointless. But anyhow. I have to send a quick shout out to my friends. I call them my friends now. At Hot Topic. I don't know if I had told you guys. Maybe I did that on my YouTube video. If you go to YouTube and type in the Blurred HQ, you can go there, or you can go to the blurredhq.blogspot.com and you can check out the video there. But anyhow. I was at I told you I went to Hot Topic. No, I was on Hot Topic's website, and they was offering, if you bought a some WWE merchandise, you received a free WWE comic book. And being the comic book nerd that I am, I'm like, I want that comic book because I am a fan. I'm a nerd for the WWE. Hopefully on the 27th, I'll be able to go here in town. But the tickets are going really, really fast. And I haven't decided who's all going because you have to buy all the tickets at one time so you all can sit together. So we're working that out. But they'll be bought by the end of the week. But no, so I wanted this comic book, and so I seen it online. I'm like, well, I want to see what it is. I'll run out to the store because they're probably doing the same promotion in the store. I'll buy some WWE out there, and then I'll get the comic book and everything. So we run all the way out to the store, and of course they don't have it. And I'm like, dang it, why don't you? I'm being funny. I was like, why don't y'all have that false advertising? So I went back home, and I'm like, well, I just got to buy it online. And the offer was gone. There was nothing about it. I don't know if they just had it for a few seconds. And well, I'll give you my thoughts on that. But so it was about a few days went past, and I also went out there to get some Hero Clicks because they had the Man of Steel Hero Clicks for like 66 cents or 74 cents, something like that, something crazy. But obviously I should have bought them all, but they ran out, but they didn't have them anyhow. So I sent them an email to the customer service department, and I asked it, hey, I was on your website. I wanted the WWE comic book because, you had the promotion with buying some WWE merchandise and get this for free. But I went up to the store, they didn't have it, so I came back to the website and it's gone. I'm sorry I missed out. And I didn't ask or anything, I just want to know if the promotion was still going on. And so the guy was like, he's like, you know what, I have one of those comic books right here, I'll send it out to you this week. And it came Saturday. It came yesterday, Sunday. It came Saturday, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And this is such a little thing. Didn't charge me postage. Didn't ask me to buy anything. He's just like, to send you one, even though it's not. It's only what? Let's see. It's only maybe 20 pages, if that, front and back. And it's a really good story, and kind of. From the mind of Mick Foley, he's a longtime member of the WWE, or he's been through several different incarnations of the WWE, and this is going to be this is actually WWE Superstars, all new issue 0. Now they have a comic book already, but this is issue 0. And on the front cover, if you go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/the 5x5 completely spelled out, you'll see the comic book and a few of the pages. And it's officially licensed. It's not even on the WWE shop website. The official WWE licensed product, and is published by Super Genius. I've never heard of them, but the story is actually Mick Foley with Shane Richards wrote this with Jill Thompson was the cover artist, and Puste did the artwork inside the book. And this is actually issue 0. So I don't know if this is an old one. It says 2014, so it's not that old, but they have WWE Superstars #1 had 5 different collectible covers, so I don't know exactly where this falls into. They said this is a new story, so I don't know how this falls into their continuity. But it's cool to see the wrestlers take on this kind of comic book, and they have a Scooby Doo movie out as well, and so I thought that was kind of interesting. And the story kind of focuses on CM Punk, and maybe why because this wasn't too popular because CM Punk is no longer with the WWE. I think his contract runs up in May, and I think he wasn't going to sign his contract. But anyhow, he's like, again, he's the antagonist. He's the anti-hero in this story, helping out Daniel Bryan, and you see some of their moves in the pages. There's some slam and some bams and some stuff, Batman-esque art, and then the whole story is they're out to get Daniel Bryan and run him out of town, and the Authority and the Shield's behind it. You see Ryback and Curtis Axel, and then CM Punk actually gets to pop Paul Heyman with a trash can. So I thought that was interesting. So if you guys can find one of these, it's worth it, because I think it's funny. I'll see if they're going to have official #1, or if this I'll find out and let you guys know how this is going to work, because I'm still kind of confused as exactly where this falls in that continuity. And did you guys know? Well, I'll go there later. And also, it's also an advertisement for Free Comic Book Day. It has the whole back panel, which is May 3rd this year. And I've talked about Free Comic Book Day. And don't forget, if you haven't listened to it yet, listen to the interview I did with the founder of Free Comic Book Day, Joe Field. And it's on not iTunes. It's on iTunes. It's on iHeartRadio, and of course, it's here on Spreaker.com. So that was one of the comic books that I got today that I didn't have this week that I had to pay for, which was good. I also got a Walking Dead #1 called the Tyrese Special, and it kind of features part of the story that they gave to us last year in the Free Comic Book Day, The Walking Dead, that has Michonne on the front, and then the governor's like in the background. But this is about Tyrese. Tyrese, if you're watching the show, he's the one with Carol and the baby. And so that's his story. And I got I Survive, which I don't know why I picked this up, because I picked it up and was totally confused. It's part of another series. So I don't know if I'm going to read that, but I have it. Marvel, and then Marvel X-Force #1. Again, totally confused. Phantom Mex, Marrow, which she's back, and she's kind of pretty now, and Cable. And then a story that I thought I wasn't going to pick up, that I wasn't going to buy. I bought the #1, and they're like 6 weeks. It really wasn't a month. It's like 6 weeks in between the #1 and #2. #2 was Ms. Marvel #2, and actually the story is really, really good. I like the part that it's a different ethnicity, different religion, and they talk about it in the comic book, and she's coming to terms with these new powers that came from the obvious mist. I guess that Inhuman mist. There's a name for it, but I forget what it was. But those were what I picked up this week. And I also remember I was telling you about a couple weeks ago that I went to one of my local comic book stores, the first one I've ever went to in this city, years and years ago when I was in college. That's when I didn't know anything about comic book collecting, really. I knew I liked them, but I'm looking through back issues, and some say 10 cents and 50 cents when I get to the register. He's like $7, $8, and $9 because the value is so high. But anyhow, that comic book store. And I didn't have a great experience. That's what's kind of put in my mind. I want to open my own store, which, like I said, I'm going to do eventually, and just cater to my customers and be nice and be friendly, because sometimes comic book stores can be kind of off-putting. If you read about it online, it's there. They say, well, they're not the most friendly places in the world, and I think you get so inside your own collecting and your own nerd, so to speak, that you forget that you are serving the public. And I had that experience at a comic book store here, and I was kind of disillusioned. So you have the little Foursquare app on your phone. See, I'm a smartphone nerd too. The little Foursquare app on your phone, and I left a nasty comment. So my nephew and I went in there Wednesday to go pick up some Hero Clicks. Oh, and then I also bought the Watchman Essentials and Batman Essentials, which is the New 52 Batman, and then the Watchman is from the original graphic novel, which I never owned. I seen the movie, which it didn't do all that well, and people didn't really like because it was so dark. It was a very dark movie, but the Essentials, it was only $1. So it's something nice to have, I thought. But anyhow, so we would go in there Wednesday, and the owner, who was before not very, very approachable, kind of mean, and is very, very stoic and act like he just doesn't want to be there. Today, that Wednesday, he was happy to see us. He said, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Oh, you didn't recognize my picture from my Foursquare profile talking about how nasty you guys were to me last time I was in here." But he was very, very nice, so it just kind of changed my whole thought about him in particular. There's some other people in that I still don't care for, but the owner, you're the one that runs the store. He won some points, and so they have some new Hero Clicks now. My nephew and I, we have started to get into this Hero Click game board tabletop game type thing. And by the way, Wil Wheaton is he loves tabletop games, and there's a tabletop game day, and so he's a supporter of that, and he actually gets into it. But anyhow, I wonder if he has a Star Trek Hero Click. I bet he does. Anyhow, and so remember I told you guys I want to stop saying anyhow, but I haven't stopped saying anyhow. So we go to get these Hero Clicks, and I let my nephew, I said, "You can get 2 and I'll get 2, and then we'll go home, we'll go play," because they were on spring break this weekend. So because we've already got some others, the ones I got from Hot Topic. Anyhow, and so there was that anyhow again. And so he picks up a Batman Arkham Origins, and then I'm a big fan, I was a big fan of the Batman, the classic Batman original live action series with Burt Ward and Adam West and Yvonne Craig, Cesar Romero, and all those good people. Burgess Meredith, if you remember, Burgess Meredith was the Penguin who later was the trainer in Rocky, but good actor. All of them are all gone, and I think Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, Burt Ward, Adam West, and Yvonne Craig, they're still around, and Adam West is the voice of the mayor on Family Guy. Anyhow, there's that anyhow again, and so see, and I lose my train of thought a lot. I'm tired. It's been a long week. And so I'm like, they have the Hero Clicks for the Batman series. I'm like, oh, how neat it would be to get an Eartha Kitt Catwoman, or Julie Newmar, or even a Batgirl. I love a hero. I'm a nerd for heroines. Or a Yvonne Craig Batwoman. Batgirl. And so I didn't... I got 2 of those, and I got Shame, which I vaguely remembered, and then I got a Robin. My nephew he got one too. He got Dick Grayson, and then he got a rare in the Batman Origin series. It was a rare Firefly that's worth like $15 on eBay. I should sell it and not tell him. Don't tell him. Shh. So that rounded out our Hero Clicks. Oh, except I did swing by Hot Topics, and they had the Hobbit Hero Clicks on sale for $1.25, and I picked up 4 of those. And I actually got a rare called Tariel, which is for sale on eBay, DAY, the letter NEBV. Or you can see it on my website under eBay auctions, theblurredhq.blogspot.com. So what else is there? Well, I think we're going to have another break, and we'll come back. We're going to talk about Arrow, the Walking Dead season finale, and the top grossing comic book movies of all time. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I fight fires, and I save lives.
My name's Renee. I'm a cardiologist. I save lives.
My name's Anthony. I'm an EMT. I save lives.
You don't have to be a professional to save a life. Firefighters, doctors, and others save lives. You can too. Don't wait. To learn more about the warning signs and how you can help prevent suicide, visit save.org. In a crisis, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK.
Well, somebody please tell me if she's saying the chocolate box, because I need to know. I've been playing that song for a long time and I still really don't know. I like the beat and everything, but I still don't know what they're saying. Anyhow, welcome back. It is Fanboy Weekly, and I'm your host, David, from the 5x5. And we're just kind of talking about my nerd adventures for the week. And we talked about comic books, and we talked about being a nerd, Wil Wheaton, so I guess we'll just get into it. TV this week in TV. Of course, we had Arrow, and remember last week I told you I was waiting for the Birds of Prey episode, and although it was a little disappointing, but the big fight between Black Canary and the Huntress, and then Arrow, and then Thea gets taken off somewhere by Slade, and so the next few episodes, they're not back until tomorrow is April. No, Tuesday is April 1st, so they're on Wednesday, so they'll have a new episode. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be back new on April the 1st, but so it was a pretty good episode. Amanda Waller's involved now. I was watching Justice League Unlimited the other day, and I was seeing the character on it and how much of a bitch she is. So that's cool. That kind of aspect is there. But it kind of left some things to be desired on Arrow's Birds of Prey episode. I think they did okay, even though normally the Canary gets the best of the Huntress, but in this version, first the Huntress got the best of Black Canary trying to save Laurel, but they all know each other's identities, so except for Laurel doesn't know who the Black Canary is, but I thought she was going to tell her at one point, but I think the dad does. So Wednesday it's going to be another episode. I don't know, I guess the whole Slade storyline is going to play out, because I think you see them fighting in some of the previews. But the big thing for this week, or I guess it's Sunday, starting the week, but my TV watching week was the Walking Dead season finale tonight. A lot of things really didn't get wrapped up. The gang is all together, and if you haven't watched it, this is some spoilers in it. The gang is all together at Terminus, but how they get there was a long road, and we've seen Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick, go from being the kind of the middleman and the voice of reason and the do the right thing guy, but he's still that guy, but he's just a whole lot grittier with it. And I'm tired of Carl. I wanted Carl to get eaten up by a zombie tonight. I thought it was going to happen. I prayed for it. He's doing too much. He's doing too much, but Carl didn't get it. But the gang that Daryl was with, they found Rick. Rick killed part of the group. Killed one of the guys in the bathroom, part of the group earlier, maybe before they went on winter break, maybe. Or one of the hiatuses where they went, they almost knew all the time, except for around Christmas. Anyhow, he killed the guy when they came back from winter break. He killed the guy in the bathroom. And so the one guy, he still knew who he was, and they catch him. They had made a little makeshift camp after they had killed some zombies, and it's nighttime, and him and Michonne are talking, and there's a gun, and then Rick, I read this in a review, because like I said, I only had the 2 Walking Dead comic books. I'm looking for some older ones, but they're way too expensive. If you look on eBay and people are there's some going for $200. I don't get it like that. So I won't, unless I get a second print, even though I don't like second printings, maybe just for the story, whatever. I'll get a second print. But anyhow, they said that there's a really, because the Walking Dead comic book is definitely not for children. They said that Carl is in a position to where he's ready to be taken advantage of. They didn't know for sure whether they're going to portray that on TV. So when you see Carl and this greasy redneck dude, it's almost you almost heard dueling banjos. What's that movie where there's a squeal like a little pig? It's at the top of my head. I can't think of it, but and so I'm like, oh wow, they're not going to do this on TV, which they've shocked us, with Carol killing the little girl, they've shocked us in this series, and that's what they do. The shock value is way up there, and they really push the envelope, and so Carl's trying to get away from this guy, and Rick is saying, leave my son alone, and then he takes the guy and he bites the guy's neck out, or his throat. He takes a big and kills him by with his teeth, and there's blood everywhere, and the Michonne, because Daryl was traveling with these guys, and he's the one that kind of say, hey, stop, don't shoot him, these are good people, and then so they turn on Daryl, and then they eventually get the upper hand after Rick rips the guy's throat out with his teeth, and then they kill them all. So very, very gruesome, and then they finally make it to Terminus. And I also read that Terminus is a place, well, I kind of gather some kind of crazy religious people that's been there anyhow. And since they survived the zombie apocalypse, they're doing this whole cleansing thing with the new members, I'm thinking. But what I read was that these Terminus people are using new people as food. They're like cannibals. They're food. So you wonder what they're cooking up on that grill, because there's no livestock and they have an awful lot of meat. So is that where Beth went? Would they snatch her up in that car and they're cooking her up, or she's been cooked up? Because how they remember. And they did a lot of flashbacks, and we get to see Herschel again. How Rick knows something's up because he sees Herschel's pocket watch that Herschel had gave to Glenn, and so he knew that Glenn obviously was there. He has some words, and so everything starts with, "Where'd you get that pocket watch?" And then it goes down. There's a lot of people there, and they have all these machine guns. It's really, really crazy, and they make them go into a, I guess it's a train like crate thing, and then they find the other guys, and then the last thing we hear Rick say is, he says, well, they're not gonna think it's funny, and they're like, what's funny? When they find out they're screwing with the wrong people. I'm like, oh, Rick is the boss. So, but Beth wasn't in the cart. At least I didn't see her. I seen Maggie and Glenn and some of the other people that they picked up along the road, and I didn't see, I don't think Tyrese or Carol was in there. So, I think Beth, Tyrese, and Carol. I think whoever took Beth, I think if I didn't see it, I could be wrong. I missed a couple minutes of it. I think they're gonna be the saviors, and they're gonna end up owning Terminus. I don't know how this kind of translates from the comic book, but it'd be interesting to read, because I don't mind spoilers. I like to know what's coming. So it was a good season finale. They're walking in there, and he's peeping out like, they screwed with the wrong people. And another thing that I read that I thought was really interesting, in the comic book, they say, I guess there's a moment when Rick's having another one of his Rick Grimes moments. He says, we are the Walking Dead. And so when you think about it, when you think about the Walking Dead, you think about the walkers. But, yes, they're the Walking Dead, but, we've heard several times in the series that everybody's infected with whatever made these. And have they ever explained that? I know they talked about it during the first year, the first season, when they were at the CDC, but I don't know if they really explained exactly what happened. I can't remember. So if somebody can tell me, tweet me at the 5x5 and let me know your thoughts on that. But he says they're the Walking Dead, and what that means is they're walking with this dead zombie gene inside of them, that when they die, they end up not really dying. So it's interesting. It was really, really interesting. I really liked it. This has been a really good season. Like, the only season that I didn't really like was season 2. when Shane was killed. They've all been good seasons, but that's season 4 now. 1 and 4 now is my favorite season. So I'm assuming they're going to get a 5th season, but I don't know how much longer they can drag this out. Although the comic book started, I guess, in 2005-ish, and it's 2014 now. So it's 9 years old. So they have a little life left. I guess they can keep on going on, but I don't know how long these people want to do it. But Norman Reedus, breakout character for the season for me, and it has been for a long time, would have to be Norman Reedus, and of course Michonne. Those are still two of my favorites. So I'm sure this Friday at PopCon that I'll see some Durrells and Michonne's there. And if you guys are going to be there, I'm making a shirt. I don't know what I'm going to put on the front, but on the back I'm going to have my website. So if you want your picture taken, I'll have it showcased on my website, theblurredhq.blogspot.com. Let's see. We're going to take a really quick break, and then we're going to wrap up with the highest grossing comic book films of all time. And then we're going to close it out for the night. We'll be right back. That's kind of a groovy song. I like that. You've Been Lifted Up. That's by Alex Barosa and Love Shadow. I like that for some reason. Don't ask me why, but I do. So, since tonight I get so on the Walking Dead season finale, we get so many trailers. Although the X-Men Days of Future Past official extended trailer was online earlier this week, but it was during the Walking Dead season finale too, and so I got to look at it. So you see so many things going on. It's like it's kind of all this visually bombarding your senses, and you see Iceman. I've seen the ice slide, which we haven't seen in any of the X-Men movies. Sunspot, which he looks really, really cool, kind of like Johnny Storm, but not really. And then you see Blink using her portals, which she was never a part of that. That was a long time ago, but she didn't show up until Age of Apocalypse, right? And so that little mini series that they had when David Haller killed Professor X. Anyhow, you had to read the book. That was actually a good storyline. After that, and then during the 12, and then going into X-Men got really, really weird and not as enjoyable as it was used to be. Anyhow, and so we get all these trailers tonight, and you see Storm, you see Professor X, you see Magneto, you see the Sentinels. It was crazy, and I'm like, this movie is going to be off the chain. So who's going to be the winner this year? Is it going to be for the sci-fi movies? And you also see a trailer for the new Transformers movie with Mark Wahlberg. Of course, they've been plastering the Captain America. They say it's going to be the best Avenger-esque movie out of all of them. Captain America Winter Soldier, that's been all over the place because it comes out on Friday as well. But then who's going to win? Who's going to be the winner? Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men, Days of Future Past, Transformers, Spider-Man. Then you see the trailers for Spider-Man or Captain America. Who's going to win out of those 5? There's 5 movies, and all of them, well, 4 out of the 5 are Marvel. DC, you need to step your game up for real. Maybe they'll release a really cute animated movie or something that'll be good for DVD. But that was I do have a couple other things to talk about. Am I going to talk about those? I actually watched, and this is a sidebar, I'm sorry. I watched a comic book movie, which was a graphic novel called Sparks. I watched that this week. And something else. I watched 2. I watched 2 that I hadn't seen before. I rented them. I can't think of what the other one was. I watched Sparks. And so it's about a wannabe kind of kick-ass type of superhero who wants to be a superhero, but we found out later that he is he can't be killed. He can be hurt, but he regenerates real fast. But that was from a chemical spill. It was actually really good. It got kind of some bad reviews from some people, but it was really good. It was kind of told in that Sin City, Watchmen type of, because it was set like in the 40s. It was kind of told in that theme. There's like a narrator, and you kind of go through what they're going through, and it's kind of dark though. A lot of unnecessary killing, and but the guy gets the girl at the end. There's some prostitutes and stuff. So if you haven't watched it, you haven't seen it yet, check out Sparks. It's on iTunes right now. SPARKS. I have a full review on my blog, both on the 5x5 and the Blurred HQ. And then I wish I could think of the second movie that I rented. I rented 2 movies. Sparks was one of them. And I should have wrote this down. It's gone. Odd Thomas. Dean Koontz, he writes all the odd books, and he's been a horror writer for years and years and years. One of my favorite, probably my most favorite artist, if I have one. But he does. This was the first book called Odd Thomas, which Odd Thomas is like the supernatural. He can hear the dead. He can see the dead. Well, he can't hear the dead because in this version the dead can't speak. He can only see them and see images from their mind. And then it goes through, and then the Bulldogs, and check it out. It's on iTunes as well. It was really, really good. But the if you haven't seen it, this is a spoiler. The girl gets killed at the end. So those 2 that I've seen, I liked them a lot. I didn't want to talk about those a lot because I want to do them at another time. But anyhow, so saying who's the big 5, who's going to win? Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man #2, Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men Days of Future Past, or Transformers. Those 5 are contending for the box office. And somebody did a really good analysis on movie releases each year, and when they release them and what time they release them, and how DC releases their movies and how Marvel releases their movies. And DC is failing this year. They don't have an offering this year as they had in the past. But anyhow, I said, well, who have been the big heavy hitters of all time, comic book movie adaptations, and the all time, and we won't go through all of them, but we'll go through a few. Number one, and everybody should know, was Marvel's The Avengers. Lifetime gross 623,357,910. It opened at just a little under 208 million. Number two was The Dark Knight at 535 million. Oh, and number three is The Dark Knight Rises. So see, DC, when they do, but Batman has the number one comic book. Several of the Batman comics are in the top 10. So that's not surprising. People like Batman and Wolverine, but Wolverine didn't make the top 10. Then you have Iron Man 3, which I don't know why, because it was kind of horrible. It was good, but not like the other two. 409 million. Number five was the original. 5, 6, and 7 was the original Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, 403 million, 373 million, and 336 million, respectively. And they've been on Fox, I think FX this weekend. Number 8 was the first Iron Man, and number 9 was the second Iron Man, and the number 10 was Man of Steel. And so all these dates go back to 2002, with the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the last 2 years, which is kind of interesting. The Man of Steel was $291 million. So Marvel has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the top 10, with 3 going to DC. So, and then number 11, right behind it, the Amazing Spider-Man, which is the new one, 262 million. Then the 1989 Batman, with 251 million. And then Men in Black, 250 million. X-Men Last Stand actually made the top 20, which it beat, because a lot of people had a lot of high expectations for it. For X-Men, I remember I've seen this at the Regal in Atlanta. I think I can't think what it is anymore. I've been out of Atlanta too long. At the big Regal Theater there in right north of Midtown. X-Men 2, 214 million was number 15. 300, which I haven't seen, and they have a second movie, 210. And Batman Begins, which is really strange, since what Batman movies were these up here? Oh, they're The Dark Knight. Oh, So Batman Begins, which was the first one with the Joker, was in this number 17 at 206 million. 18, Thor: The Dark World, which is still playing. It hasn't even been out a year yet. 206 million. So that probably will grow as time goes on, and which is surprising to me. Superman Returns at number 19. Again, there was a lot of expectation for that. Was 200 million. The Men in Black 2 with 190 million. Batman Forever, which that would have been. There was Batman Returns. That would have been the Val Kilmer Batman when they introduced Robin. It was, or it is. Mic up before I sneeze. I'm sorry. Batman Forever, number 21 at 184 million. Thor, which is surprising, number 22 at 181 million. X-Men Origins, number Wolverine 23, 179 million. Men in Black 3. All the Men in Blacks. I guess is Will Smith is still the kind of man. Made the top 25. Is 179 million, and then the first Avenger, Captain America, is number 25 with 106 million. Which they said today now, Frozen, which is still available in some theaters, it just reached the worldwide the $1 billion mark, and it joined. So I think Iron Man and Thor: The Dark World, but it's number 10 right now. So it's just going to grow as well in popularity. I haven't seen it. I have no interest in seeing that type of I'm not a fanboy or a nerd for that. But if you are, it's okay. And then rounding out the 30 is Batman Returns, X-Men, Fantastic Four, X-Men First Class, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. So there is your top 30 comic book movies, with Marvel leading. Thing is, Fantastic Four didn't make top 30, with Marvel leading the charge on that. Well, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will tell you all about all my geeky adventures this weekend coming at our first annual comic book convention on April the 4th and 5th. I'll see you Sunday night. Thank you guys. See you next time.